Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another dev interview with Playable Worlds. It's great to have you guys here watching us. We appreciate it. And thank you also to the people watching the video on demand later. We appreciate you too. My name's Carneros. I'm your host today. And actually, I have a co-host today, Lyric Dax. Say hi,
Good
Lyric.
morning, everyone. How's it going?
Good, good. I love your deep voice. That's nice, inspiring. And then our special guest today, our interviewee, is Niina Fujioka. Good morning.
Good morning.
Say something so they hear your voice.
Good morning. Do you want me to speak up
Good
louder?
morning. Yeah, that helps. That you sound good, but we need the folks who are listening and not watching to be able to hear the different voices. Luckily, your voice is very different from mine and Lyric's for obvious reasons. And it's great to have you here with us.
Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Playable Worlds.
Okay.
We
So yes.
note that we advertised you under a different job title.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, my name is Niina. I am now the vice president of Playable Worlds. Um, Yay. And what I do here. Do you want me to go over what I do at Playable Worlds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does
that
that
sounds
mean
great.
at Playable Worlds? I mean, if we look at the United States government, what does the vice president do? But at Playable Worlds, holy cow. Yeah, tell us about it.
So I started here essentially running the biz ops side, so finance, HR, legal, and over the last year and almost a half now, I'm now as many of you know, I probably have spoken to a lot of the community through support requests and the Kickstarter. I also help Rick on marketing, and right now we are working together on sales. So I just kind of go where I'm needed. I help with corp dev as well. So yeah, just kind of go wherever, whatever department needs a hand. So my title is now a bit more broad.
Absolutely.
What
Uh,
what you guys can't see is she works insane hours. She works her butt off. She gets so much. She solves so many problems in a given day. It would make your head spin. And it's amazing. There's no question why she just got a vice president title. She earned it twice over easily. Yeah,
Thanks.
we're
I honestly, it's
we're
a big
proud to
part
have
of it
you
is
on our team.
thanks. I love the team so much and I love the game. So, anything that I can do to make sure that, we succeed and we get to launch and we stay together, that's really my core motivation.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so yeah, you mentioned business operations, and you called it biz ops, but a little bit of slang there. And you mentioned the administration side, like finance and legal and human resources. And thank you for running all of those groups, and everything else you're doing, and somehow having time to help out all the other groups. Yeah, thank you. You
It's
guys
really
don't know it,
because
but we have a board of directors meeting today. And she put a lot of work into that. There's so many things stacked up in her day, and she made time for us today. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
yeah, today's a busy day, but yeah, so the biz ops side, and that's just shortening it for efficiency. I have a wonderful, wonderful team, and so that because of them, it makes it a lot easier to jump into other things and jump into other domains when I'm needed. So shout out to Magic and Justin because they're awesome and they really make it so that I can do as much as I do here.
Yeah, agreed. Is Playable Worlds what you expected when you came on board? What surprised you the most?
Um, well, okay, so what surprised me the most is we are very much a startup, right? And that, I guess, once we start talking about my background, that is something that I'm very comfortable in. But initially, I guess I didn't expect to go into a startup as much. The one thing that I guess surprised me the most about the team is how versatile and multifaceted the team is, and that essentially has made it so I am obsessed with Playable Worlds. I'm obsessed with being here. I think everybody on the team is so fascinating and so, multi-talented, multi-skilled, and it really made me feel home. And now I don't ever want to leave.
That's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah. And the moderators, you guys too. I know, Larrick, you and I have freaking talked so much over the past
Oh
year and a
yeah,
half, and I'm like,
we
oh
uh
man, yeah,
we do a lot to help with account stuff.
yeah, we do. I could also not have done all of the support and the merge and the transition, like transition from Kickstarter to First Look and the app situation and the Discord server. I could not have done it without you. So
Well, thank
yeah,
you, Nina.
thankful.
Yeah, for a lot of you who have had account problems and stuff like that, it's Nina in the background making everything work. I mean, she is amazing. She takes care of so much.
And I should point out there's a fourth person in this video right now, or in this stream right now, that you can't see, who also does a lot, and that's Thomas.
Hello.
He's back
Thomas.
there managing the stream right now and pulling the video and the audio and everything together, gameplay.
Playing the
But
game.
he's another multi-talented, do multiple things at once. He designed the new Discord layout and migrated us from the old one to the new one. At the same time, he's helping capture video footage and put together videos and doing whole video productions. You see his interviews with Raph and stuff. He's also advising on how to approach social media and showing us best practices on posts and designing some of our formats for them and putting them together as templates so that the rest of the team can match the style. And he's doing all kinds of things in the background.
Thank
And
you.
he's doing it at the disadvantage of being in different time zone entirely. But yeah, thank you for Thomas also.
Thanks.
It's easy to
He
not
made
appreciate the people you can't see.
he made all of those great emojis y'all enjoy on the Discord as well.
Oh. Yeah, there's an orchid plant one that I appreciated. Thank you. It's based on this orchid. Thank you, Thomas.
So Nina,
Sorry, we got distracted.
what did you study in school? How do you end up doing the kind of work you're doing?
Uh, so many of the team members here have varying degrees in terms of study area, right? I know we have people who have majored in computer science and poetry and electronic music, and it's so versatile. My background is pretty similar. So my major was sociology with a focus in criminology, and I did a double minor in music and law society justice. So I started as a
Very
music
cool.
major, and then transition. I was very fascinated by law, and the start of my career was on the pathway to being an attorney, and even after during undergrad I worked as a paralegal for personal injury and criminal defense, and then after that I did a certification in forensic studies and private investigation, so I was licensed PI for a while too. That was the beginning, and I guess if we're talking about study I can kind of move into where my path led, because obviously that is very different than games. But after I graduated, so I'm originally from Japan. I guess I didn't bring that up. I'm from Osaka. I came here when I was around first grade, back and forth till I was like middle school, and then after university, I moved back to Japan. And then from there, I worked at a Japanese tech company, Dango. So it was in Akihabara, and I worked with one of their subsidiaries called Nico Nico Doga, which was like a social platform back in the day, and also handled a lot of their anime licensing rights between American companies
Mm-hmm.
and Dango. But what's funny is most of these companies are no longer, because Funimation is not there anymore. Now it's Crunchyroll, right? Crunchyroll is what's left.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked a lot with
Dwango's
those
still
companies.
famous though.
Huh?
Dwango's still famous though. Dwango is still famous though.
Yeah, they're. I mean, they're
Maybe I'm
they have
old.
their hand on a lot of things. Yeah, they have their hand on a lot of things. So while I was there, I was traveling a lot and doing convention circuits, and then that was how I got into my next role, which then I moved to Los Angeles to work at an entertainment law firm. So I was at that law firm for a while, and I was working in their entertainment litigation, IP, and corporate departments, and this is, I guess, kind of where it gets fun. I loved being at that law firm. I loved the partners that I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
However, I wanted to open my own business, and at that time, I was competing a lot in CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting. So I thought it was a great idea
Oh,
to
wow.
go and open a gym. So yeah, so I moved back to Washington, opened a gym, did that for a few years, and then the gym is how I met my previous co-founder, and he brought me into his startup. So
Mm-hmm.
after that, I did startups for years. Worked in Web3, then data privacy, back in Web3 a little bit, and then that was essentially how I got really like into startups and building
Yeah.
companies and building teams. I closed down the gym, and then also during this time, I realized that I had a passion for opening for businesses, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
agnostically. And during this time, post COVID, during COVID, I bought a bar restaurant. Also built out a wellness studio with my husband. So we also had brick and mortar businesses at the same time that we were having startups. So it's been a journey, and how I guess I got to Playable Worlds was in the last God, it was a couple years ago now. So I have a daughter. She's just turned 2. Um, I had sold the restaurant, sold the studio, and then essentially was like, okay, maybe I'm going to take a break from like starting businesses for
Mm-hmm.
now. And it was around that time where Amaya was her name's Amaya, almost a year old. And at that point, I was like curious on like, oh, well, maybe I can, jump onto an existing team instead of going out and fundraising and starting another thing right now. Because at the time, I was like, I really just want to focus on family and take a break
Mm-hmm.
from doing multiple businesses at the same time. So that is how I found Playable Worlds.
That's such an
How,
amazing
well,
journey.
how did you hear of Playable Worlds though? Because we're not an obvious stop on that train journey you
No.
just mentioned.
So it was a job listing. I found you guys via
Oh,
just the job listing because I was just, seeing what's out there, and honestly, this is kind of funny, but I was kind of just like, oh, this, like, just looking for a job that, doesn't require me to build and run a company. So that's how I started here.
Surprise.
And I surprised, but and once I started interviewing and meeting the various team members, I was just very excited. And one of the first things I did when I started was meet with all the team members, and I just it's so, I don't know, I feed off of enthusiasm, and so I could hear how passionate the team members were excited about the game, and then I started playing the game, and I'll be truthful, like my gaming experience is not in MMOs, right? Like in
Mm.
gaming experience, but the games that I play were not MMOs. And so it was really, I really got excited about listening to the team and how passionate they were. And then obviously I had the sit down with Raph and he told me his vision and I was like, yes, I'm in it. Drink the Kool-Aid. I am here.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
Sorry about the dog. He got attention. Shout out
We
to
love the dog.
Nyerdle in chat there, who found this game by following Gordon Walton's LinkedIn. Nice, good job. Yeah, if you have favorite games in this industry, and you know who made them, you should follow them on LinkedIn and see what they're up to. You know, follow the developer, the creator, the designer on social media and see what they're up to. See how they're thinking. That's a good idea. Speaking of, geez, I lost that one. All right, Lyric, help me out. Oh, speaking of favorite games,
You got it. You
what
you
genres
mentioned
of
what
games
games? Yeah, what genres
Yeah.
are you interested in?
Oh, for me. So, I
Historically.
think historically, yeah. So I think Rick found this out yesterday or a couple days ago. But I used to be really into Tetris.
Oh wow.
So so when I was in Japan, we had a Nintendo. I'm trying to remember what game we played there. But I think a good period of my, in my childhood, I was playing Sega. And I really liked Altered Beast. Played that a lot.
oh,
Um,
yeah,
That one's
and
hard.
the music in there is like always like in my head, Like that just lives there rent free, right? I don't know if you guys know the music that I'm talking about. That's from the game. And then Sonic the Hedgehog, Donkey
love
Kong,
Sonic.
And then once I got into like PlayStation, started playing Mario Kart a lot, and then I did go through the phase, I did like first person shooters, so I went through the phase where I did Halo and Call of Duty, but I always had the fun, I always thought it was funny to change my like name to be like a potato or a kitty cat, and so then whenever I killed somebody or they got me, it was like, you were killed by a potato, or you killed a potato. And so that was I think, yeah, during my high school years. I guess, of course, around the COVID time, I got really into Pokemon Go. My whole family is in Pokemon Go. When we do family days, we generally go catch Pokemon together. So that's
That's
probably
so
the one that
cute.
I am actively in right now. So, and
I
there's a
did
few of
that
us on the
too.
team that play together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then oh God, during COVID, I played Ultimate Chicken Horse. I don't know if you guys know that game. That was so much fun. And then when I
What
was
is that
pregnant
like?
with Amaya, it's okay. So it's like you're these little characters, these little animals, and then you essentially build death traps. And your objective is to try to make it to the other side without dying in the death traps that you build for each other, essentially.
Oh, like a tower defense kind of.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then
It
when I
sounds
was
fun.
pregnant with Amaya, I was playing Gang Beasts a lot. Have you guys heard of that game?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, it is so funny. You're just kind of these like floppy, like jelly man thing, and they just kind of like flop, and you can't really control them. But the goal is to like throw each other off of whatever building or something. But
Mm.
oh man, I spent a good chunk of my pregnancy like laughing so hard. So it's no wonder my daughter is very, very goofy and silly, and I think that's because I spent most of my pregnancy laughing playing this game. So probably just felt like a dance party in my belly all the time. But yeah, so I like playing those like kind of funny type games. And then outside of that, trivia.
Yeah, I used to work for Hudson Soft, who makes Mario Party every year. Used to make Mario Party for Nintendo as a sort of internal project for them.
Oh my
So
gosh,
yeah,
do you
those
guys
party games
remember?
are a lot of fun.
Those
Do
games
you
are
guys
so
remember
fun.
Wii? Like,
Say it again.
there was a period, Wii, like the Wii, right?
Uh-huh.
Where
We,
it
yeah,
was, yeah, God, that was a whole period of life where it was like bowling and tennis was the thing. And
Yeah.
then I think when
yeah,
Xbox finally had that little body reader so that you could play the dance
Mhm.
game.
yeah.
That was during my Dwango days. I played a lot of Wii and then the dance party game.
Nice, nice. We'll stop for a second for one question from the chat.
Oh
Can
yeah.
you delve into if Stars Reach intends to take any influence from Crowfall? Let me explain that one a little bit. Crowfall is a previous MMO that Gordon Walton is famous for working on. He was the producer or executive producer on that project. And he is a longtime advisor to our company, friend of the company, does uh, advises us on all kinds of things. And he came in as an executive producer here and helped us modernize and update our processes and create a lot more efficiency in our system, and just did an amazing job for us, and then stepped back to just the advisor role again and went to go do something else after he put us all together. And that has made a huge change. And that helped get us ready for announcement last summer, and then for play testing, which started in August last year, and as you've seen, we've been putting out patch after patch every 2-3 weeks with new functionality, and he played a big part in getting us on that cadence. Sorry, I'm shaking my whole desk. I should not do that in a stream. But yeah, that's the so the influence we got was not from the design side, was from the production side. But yeah, subtle. That wouldn't mean anything much to you if you didn't work in the industry, probably, but still good. You're welcome. You're welcome. Also, one more thing that we recently communicated that doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't work in the industry. We posted a link to a presentation last week. Niina and I went to a conference called Games Beat Summit in Los Angeles, and we attended some things. And our president, Eric Goldberg, teamed up with a famous games industry uh, uh, executive and venture capitalist called Mitch Lasky, and the two of them gave a presentation, and we posted a recording of it on starsreach.com and playableworlds.com. You might see it in social media today. It's not aimed at gamers. It's aimed at our peers in the industry. It's how to navigate all the changes going on in this games industry, uh, which is pretty crazy in the post-COVID world here that we're in. So again, it's fascinating. It's interesting. Everyone in the room was focused on every word they were saying. No one's looking at their phones. It was a serious conversation, and people were into it. I don't know how well it'll play with y'all, but check it out anyway.
Seems like a great talk.
Yeah, very, very good. But let's get back on topic here for a moment. Do you have an all-time favorite game, Niina? All-time ever?
Oh, goodness.
Such a good question.
Ha!
That's
Ha! I
that's
say.
a hard question. Uh, Oh gosh, I
We
don't
can
know.
skip it if you want. We can skip that
Yeah,
one if you want.
well, I mean, the one that I've actually been playing the longest is Pokemon Go. So like, I guess
Mhm.
that is, but I guess the I like puzzles, and so the game that I liked a lot when I was younger was Tetris.
Yeah.
But
Mm-mm.
I like
Lyric,
puzzles.
what game have you played the longest in your life?
Uh, I don't know. Probably the original Pokemon games. I really love them. But my first, or the original Final Fantasy, something like that. I had an
Mm.
NES when I was a toddler, so I actually learned to read playing games like Final Fantasy.
Amazing.
Thomas,
Yeah.
what's your longest game you've played in your life?
Over 5,000 hours on Rust.
Wow,
No,
Rust.
wait, sorry, that
Okay.
was Robocraft. Over 18,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
there I was a YouTuber and working with the devs, so that was like a
Oh yeah.
job.
Wow.
For hours, I might be at Final Fantasy 11. I feel like I probably have 3 or 4 thousand hours on that over 20 years. But,
All right. All right. All right. Probably for
Niina.
me, the one I played longest is D&D because
Oh yeah,
I'm
you've got a
I'm
game
in a
going
I'm in
forever,
a
don't you?
yeah, the same I'm in the same D&D group with the folks I was with in high school, which we started in
That's so
78.
cool. Oh my gosh.
And we're like all old and almost dead. But just kidding. But actually, if you play games every day, you don't actually get old. That's my theory. But yeah,
That's a
my
good
favorite
theory.
game all time would be Eve Online. And
There's
that's the one that
there's the famous quote, you don't grow or you don't wait, what is it? It's like you don't grow old because you play. It's like something like that. It's like you grow old because you stop playing.
yeah.
Do you know what quote I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
I
It
can't
makes
come
sense
up
to
with a
me.
better one, but I've heard it, yeah. But
Makes
yeah,
perfect
Nice.
sense.
play does
Well,
help
I
keep
Niina,
you young.
what uh, what are some of your other favorite hobbies besides gaming?
Yes. You don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Okay, sorry. I
Oh,
had to
that's it. I feel like I have heard
um
that.
uh other hobbies. So I think I already mentioned I used to compete in CrossFit,
Hmm.
Olympic weightlifting, and
That's so
my
cool.
other hobbies. So I grew up doing martial arts. I
Hmm.
actually, my husband and I are on the board of a nonprofit for providing training and gear for the youth to do martial arts training.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing.
yeah,
Nice.
that's our impact work that we do together. And
Hmm.
so my husband does Muay Thai. I'm currently more focused on FMA, but I grew up doing, so my mom did judo, so I grew up doing various forms of karate and then
Hmm.
jujitsu. I was a wrestler from when I was 12 to college. And then I played rugby at UW. But yeah, I've always done
I
some type of
didn't.
sport, but martial arts has stuck
Hmm.
around for a long time. And I was training in Balintawak, so it's a form of Filipino martial arts. So I really enjoy like weapons training. Um, but yeah, and then physical related, I minored in music. I am Japanese. Love karaoke. Any chance I can do karaoke, I will do karaoke. But I love music. I love music, singing. And both my husband and I, he got into Cornish as a vocalist as well, and that's kind of how we um, met, with music.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know we shared the martial arts thing. I grew up studying kung fu. Uh,
Oh,
I
nice.
yeah, a couple of Chinese uh, subcategories of it. The one I did the most was called White Eyebrows, ironically. Buck Mei.
White eyebrow.
Buck Mei
that's
training.
Wow.
cool. Yeah, I also grew up doing martial arts. I did Goju Ryu, which is an Okinawan martial
Yeah.
art.
Wow. That's amazing. Ah, that's so great. I learned something new
I'll
about
have
you
it in
guys.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting compliments in chat.
Well,
They're like, she seems sweet enough that if she hits you, you had to deserve it. Let's be honest. I think that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Okay, where were we here? Yeah, nice. You impressed us with the hobbies there. So this is your first game company. Um, what do you think is the biggest challenge you're facing in your job in 2025 here at Playable Worlds? What's your biggest challenge?
Well, I mean, this is something that Rick, you and I are doing together.
Oh,
We essentially, I mean, it's getting the not on the tech side, but on the business side, right? So like again, I'm mainly on everything outside of development of the product, right? Development of the game. And so that having, what is our, this is going to sound very startup-y, but like go to market strategy. What is our, what does the business, how does live ops look like? What does the business look like? How do we take care of the community? How do we build the community? How, like all of these things, you know, games from, okay, so I've done a lot of research, and I've been talking to various individuals in the industry, and just trying to be a sponge, right? And understanding how the gaming industry and the business itself has evolved over the last 5-10 years, but even in the last, like post-COVID, right? There's been a lot of changes, and trying to kind of work within the constraints, or using platforms like Steam, and what does that entail? How have they changed? What is the framework? What are the boundaries, right? And then not only that, but seeing how the community responds, right? And I think that's really, really important. So Rick and I spend a lot of time like strategizing and talking through, how we're going to evolve the game and the business side, to make sure that, our next goal right now is 24/7, and then, moving to the different phases, then early access, then launch. And, what does that look like as a company? What does that look like as a team, right? Because obviously we need to grow. We are a very small, agile team, in order to be able to support 24/7, in order to be able to support going to launch, right? So thinking through that, planning, executing, right, is going to be, this is the part where we're going 0 to 1. It's also very startup-y, but that 0 to 1 is probably one of my favorite stages, but it is also one of the hardest. And thankfully, we are very grateful for the community and how everyone showed up for us for the Kickstarter. And we don't want to let you guys down, right? So that's,
Amen.
the long hours are worth it, because I know earlier I was talking about how important it is that we stay together, that I'm very invested and passionate about the team, but I also feel the same way about the community. And I am so grateful that I've been able to talk to so many of you guys, and you guys have been so welcoming and so warm. And also getting to know some of the other women who are playing, and I guess my core, at my core, I'm like, I don't want to let you guys down, So I think it's the biggest challenge is going to be getting to each of these next stages in the next 12 months.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. But it is fun. Yeah, you put yourselves in this thought for a second. You can go into a company, hear how they do things, take over doing them, and just do a good job doing them, or do the job and also look at ways to improve them. Or you can go into a new company and have them say, we need to somehow build a store. We need to somehow build a customer service department or whatever. Who wants to take that on and then go and do the whole thing from scratch? Some people would prefer to do number one. Some people would prefer to do number two. Like Niina and I are in the number two types. We love building something new in a startup. It won't be perfect, not the first time, but it just needs to be good and functional, and you can improve it from there. Anyway, yeah.
And I will mention that, like, so I started out more in like the biz ops team, right? And now it's kind of funny because our like I said, our team is small, pretty agile, and our finance, HR, like we work with marketing. We have Sean, which I know you guys met a few weeks ago, but
Voodoo.
he's as a graphic designer, but he helps me with sales. He does a lot of the marketing. Thomas came in to do one thing and does 5 different things, and so we all kind of collaborate together. And I think a big part of why we've been able to kind of move through these phases, and it's been tricky, but essentially the team will just be like, all right, here's the challenge. We roll up their sleeves. Whoever has whatever skill sets, let's come together and make it work. Whether or not your title fits the mold, right? It's like, how can we all contribute and work together? And I think that's been really, really special here.
Yeah. Thank you. You mentioned relating to the other women players for a second. What's it like being a woman of color in the games industry at the executive level? What was it like going to the event last week? What's it like from your point of view?
Yeah. So the event, that was my first like big. So I used to do a lot of conference runs for my previous startups, but in various spaces, including data privacy, which is for most people not the most exciting. The gaming convention was really fun. That was really fun because well, one, people are pretty friendly, and it was wonderful. I got asked a bunch about the Kickstarter, talking about our growth, and it was wonderful to hear people have the enthusiasm, right, about Stars Reach. And so uh, I was able to meet several women. I even did a roundtable where we did a live ops exercise, which was really fun. And there was a woman that I met. Her name's Tina, and she runs Sword and Wand, I believe. And she had invited me to a dinner where I met a handful of other women, and they were all so fascinating. They were CEOs or execs or VCs, and I got to know a little bit more about their background, their story, how they got into games, how they, grew in games to be, CEOs, COOs, head of publishing, or exited their game, sold their game, and became a VC, right? Became a partner of a VC fund. And so it was really refreshing to see that. And I know that in general there's not a ton of women in game, but I will tell you that it's the same thing in tech startups, right? Like in tech startups, it is majority men, right? And that's not, it's not like that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just that it's nice to be able to connect with the other women who have similar experiences and who have the understanding, or even just the guidance to be like, here's how you kind of navigate through being in a particular industry that's dominated in a particular way, right? And I think the other thing too is, I will say that we had a conversation about how even though it is kind of known that it's a male dominated industry, there have been some amazing men who have actually like lifted women up, right? And like mentored them to be in leadership positions and mentored them to become partners at a VC fund, so it's really it's a really beautiful thing, and it was really wonderful to have the opportunity to talk to these women. And to be honest, there was more women at the conference than I thought there would be. So that was great. There was also a group called Moms in Games. That was amazing. I didn't get to go to the group, but I was able to join their Discord. So it's been
Oh,
it's
that's
been wonderful.
cool.
Like just meeting. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
our team is small, and we have some amazing women on our team as well. And I think even in our community here, people are very, very caring. And I think
Hmm.
just in general, I feel like the Stars Reach community is so, so nice and so
It's so
like
true.
protective. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, want to make sure that, there's no like bullying or anything like that, and I think
Hmm.
that's so special. That's something worth protecting, right? And
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
even as a woman, I feel like it's been nice to have my voice be heard, and have the opportunity to grow within the company, the way that Eric and Raf have mentored me and pushed me to grow and learn as much as possible, and even network with as many people to find my footing. So I feel very, very grateful and fortunate to work with Eric and Raf and to be on this team. And in this industry, I love this industry. And I know that it's a tough industry right now, because there's so many things happening, and games have had a really, really hard time. But I think this is such a special industry.
It is.
Chat, we would love to
Yes.
answer
Yeah.
some of your questions for Niina or for Rick. Do y'all have any questions? Oh, I think we had one question here. Is this an MMO? What is the genre the game falls into?
Yeah,
And
and they might be responding to partly because someone else said it looked a little bit like No Man's Sky. And yeah, I can see what they're saying. There are some elements in common with No Man's Sky, but yes, we are an MMORPG. We are a sandbox MMORPG, if you know the distinction between them. So we're more like an Ultima or a Star Wars Galaxies than, or an Eve, than we are like a World of Warcraft or a Final Fantasy. Just to give you a category thing. What the players do is more important than the storyline that we're presenting. We do have storyline, we do have NPCs, we do have characters and things for you to discover, but it's meant to be a minor thing compared to what the players do. So yeah, there is that's the general category. One thing that's different about this MMO, instead of setting it in a cool world designed by a world builder and a set of designers, we've set it in a simulation of a planet, of multiple planets, and the simulation is running in a cloud, and it pays attention to weather, creatures, flora, fauna, whatever is happening, what the players do, and it pays attention to time and erosion and things like that. So there's a world happening, and now you come to it and you explore it and you build a life in it. And the fact that it's a simulation instead of a setting affects everything you do in subtle and non-subtle ways. And it adds a lot of richness and reality to the thing. That's one of our special magics in this. There are a few other things that you haven't seen yet, but
it's such
I
a
hope
cool
I
concept for a
answered your
game.
question.
A really living world,
Okay. Cichlid
Got
is
some
asking,
questions.
Niina, when you first heard about the features and systems that were going into Stars Reach, which ones surprised or interested you the most?
Oh.
Say fishing. Just kidding.
I feel like some of the team members know, but I got really excited about Taming Creatures. So and that's still something that's exciting. I'm not super good at, but gosh, let's see. I think, oh my gosh, what surprised me the most, it wasn't necessarily that it was a system that I didn't necessarily expect to have in the game, but once we had the homesteading and the building, right? And even, honestly, even watching Lyric build some stuff, I am just blown away. I love watching what the community builds in the game. It's insane. Insane. Oh my goodness. We have full on like cathedrals and like cities from Back to the Future and DeLoreans and it's, oh my gosh, it is so amazing. I am so not good at doing that because I just like sat there. One of the times when like Lyric and I were in the building something, I was just like dancing in his homestead while he was building because I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll just like dance here. So, but yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things. But I enjoy combat, but taming was the thing that I think I could say that I got the most excited about and died the most trying to do.
Building is so
Like
fun.
trying to tame a prowler. Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard one.
The taming's only half implemented too. There's only
Yeah.
a rudimentary version of it in the game at the moment. There'll be more. LJN Warden asked, could I ask about the cloud/server? While watching, I've noticed a bit of server-side lag or desync. I'm assuming that issue will be resolved post-playtesting phase.
I
Or
can
maybe
answer
it's
that.
the tick rate.
I mean,
Okay,
that's
but
because I'm from
point
Italy.
out to him also the fact that he's saying cloud/server, because in the old days these MMOs were a client-server architecture, and now it's the server is now turned into cloud computing. Anyway, go for it.
I mean, we have a video dedicated about it with Raf, the CEO of Stars Reach, which you can find on YouTube. As I'm not a tech guy, I cannot really reply about that answer, but for the desync, it's because I'm connected to a USA server from Italy. So there is I think 340 ping from the server in my case, or 256, I don't remember. But it's around that, and it's impossible to make it smaller because of, well, distance.
But there are a few things that are changing about that too. Up until now, Combat did not have any kind of client-side prediction of what was happening to smooth the experience of playing it. And that recently got added in as its first iteration. We should get Avi back on the program one of these days. He implemented that, and you would enjoy hearing his better explanation of it and what he's going to do with client-side prediction next in his second and third iterations to improve it better. Because we don't want you to feel noticeable lag or desync unless we're in some major situation where you got large numbers of people players congregating in one place trying to do something taxing to the game.
Well, one of the improvement that our programmer Avi did was, for example, this synchronization between the, how's called, node ring of this weapon, the drone weapon, and the player. As before, it was not following the player. It was like there was a big offset between the player and the ring. So this is probably called client prediction. Is that correct? I'm not, again, the tech guy to know the name, but yeah, this was just an example to explain what Rick just said.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing with the tick rate going forward either. That might be a placeholder at the moment too. We shall see. There are wild animals going by my window that occasionally distract me. So sorry about that. Yeah,
Niina,
good
we had
question.
another
Thank you.
question. I think we missed it. It was from Gunk. They asked, "What are you most excited to tackle next?"
Ooh. What am I most excited to talk? Sorry, I'm gonna look at my board. Um, I'm excited. I'm excited to figure out some events to do as a community.
Oh, very cool.
We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with the social rewards,
We
social
did.
goals, Kickstarter. Yeah, and that was super fun. So I'm excited to do more of the events and honestly being able to just hang out with the community. Uh, and that's actually a really fun thing to do. Yeah, fun, excited and fun is different than the challenging problems to solve.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be great fun. I think events are just good for everyone, for our culture. It's always really fun.
And it's nice for the team to come in too, and be able to like have a space or an
Participate.
event to be able to
Yeah.
engage. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like it.
All right.
Okay, we got about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to have to wind this down. And Niina and I and Thomas have to get to meetings. But if you have any more questions, what's the game's primary coding language? Okay, it's a mixed match of all kinds of stuff. We have layers that we wrote that are custom internal things that we've rewritten in various languages along the way, but they're our own tools. We've got some stuff we are borrowing from Unity. We've got or licensed from Unity that we're using. We got some things that we've updated along the way, shown it to Unity, and they've put it back into the Unity package for everyone else to use. And so we're helping make Unity better for MMORPGs, for MMO games in general. There are a bunch of things that we're using. There are scripting languages. There are objective versions of C, like C++ and C#. There are you don't have any actual engineers in here. You know, Rust. So
and I think some TypeScript.
Okay. And then there are more things. There are more kinds of specialty things. Like, I don't know what goes into the whole Dynamo populate thing, for example, and if there's, I guess that would be scripting to help with that. And there's a whole UI framework. Yeah, it's kind of it looks like spaghetti from my marketing point of view. All of them. Yeah. It seems like it. Not the things that I studied in college. There's no C and there's no Pascal. Go on. And there's no HyperCard. I'm just making jokes. But I thought the HyperCard reference would get some laughs.
Yeah. Someone laughed in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the generous laugh from the bigger beard. He wishes he could see the spaghetti. All right, we have to get an engineer on again. Avi's too busy right now, but we have to get someone. We'll get one of them. We'll find a volunteer. Yeah. No, it's not forbidden. Oh, heck no. Bro, question not forbidden. Just the wrong folks are here to answer it at the moment. The main scripting server for gameplay is TypeScript. Oh, thank you, Light. The majority of the simulation is Rust. most of our networking and parts in Unity use C#, focusing on ECS. And I'm not sure what our terrain rendering uses primarily, but I think it's C# as well. Now that's light, well done. Thank you. And thank you for phrasing it in a way that didn't make me look like a complete idiot. Much appreciated. Yeah.
Niina, I think we had one more question for you. What advice would you have for someone if they wanted to start their own company?
Oh, that's a good question. I love that
Yeah.
question. So for God, how many years now? I've also been an advisor for companies that are starting out, and it is really hard to start the company. Is not the hard part, right? It's hard. That 0 to 1 is hard, right? And so I do believe, though, that, if you have a product or a business idea, the first thing to do is get some validation, make sure that it is something that there is a need, a clear app or need for it, within whatever market that you are trying to cater towards, right? Solve a problem for. And then from there, especially if you're trying to, and there's like two routes, right? There's one where you like bootstrap and you self-fund, and there's another one where you fundraise, right? The first thing is always, at least just get some validation, really like scope out your product, whether if it's brick and mortar, right? Like you need to figure out like what type of business, what is your services, what is the product that you're selling. If it is something in the tech space, right? Really trying to like think through, go through the domain modeling exercise, go through, and then who is your customer? Who are you solving the problem for, right? Once you do that, right, then usually it's good practice to do a business plan and then a pitch deck. From there, there's the steps to like starting the business, right? There's the legal side where you're actually doing the formation. That part is you can generally outsource. You can get, an advisor to help do that. But at the end of the day, at the very core, it needs to be something that you believe in and that you're passionate about, because it's hard. Starting a business, running a business, scaling a business, it's hard. So your heart has to be in it, right? And also make sure that there's a customer segment that you're going for, right? That it's not just like, I have this idea and everybody's gonna love it,
You need product market fit.
Need product market fit, exactly. But yeah, I do think at least one point in people's lives they should experiment with being an entrepreneur and starting a business and just going through the journey. It's almost like a badge of honor to fail, right? Because that's just the name of the game, right? It's hard, but the skills and experience you gain from, being essentially an operator, a salesman, a developer, like all of the things that you need to actually like build a product, build a team, right? Those skill sets are applicable in so many areas of life in general that I would encourage as many of you to give that a try. And especially nowadays where it is more accessible than it might have been previously, where you could start a social media page and do some type of monetization by selling products or selling a t-shirt line or something, right? So there are like lower risk avenues to experiment, right? And go through that experience. But and I do think it's valuable skill sets for everybody, and it also kind of gives you clarity on like what is it that really drives you, what is your why, so but simple question, figure out what is the problem, what is the solution, get validation, and then go through the exercise of building out a business plan.
What a great answer. It's so true. It teaches you so much.
It does. Yeah, and it's wonderful. It's hard, but
it is
so wonderful, and it's and the people that you meet and being able to develop teams. It's obviously I'm in it for life. I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where I'm not going to be wanting to build something. So I love it. I love it so much, and especially with the various careers that I've had, I think this is the niche. Like I like building teams. I like going from 0 to 1 and scaling businesses, and I will probably continue to do that forever.
Well, thank you very much. We are out of time. I'm not trying to dodge LJN Warden's last question, which is related. Will claiming a planet be relative to PvP or a PvE event? And let us finish the design for it and then present it to you, is what I would say. There will be PvP in the game, but it might not be available until 2026. So hold your horses a bit. But just more coming. Thank you to Niina, Lyric, and Thomas for all helping out here today. Thank you to the audience for the questions. Thank you to Light for helping with some of the toughest answers in there. Much appreciated. And we're going to let you guys go and play the game. If you're not in the game, go to starsreach.com and check out our store or sign up for an account. And let's get you in here playing. The rest of the group are going to keep playing while Niina and I and folks have to go get in meetings. So we have to make this game. It's not done yet. We got to keep working on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.